All right, this is it, day one. What's up? So I'm gonna try something different today. I'm getting rid of all the dairy and the milk like I mentioned. I got some almond milk to put in my coffee. I don't even really like coffee necessarily. I don't like the caffeine, but I kind of like the flavor of milk in coffee. Normally for breakfast, I'm eating, a bowl of cereal, sugary cereal and milk. Horrible for you. Almond milk here has 30 calories a cup compared to the dairy milk. Even 1% milk is 103 calories per cup. So it's a significant improvement. So here we go. Let's drink a little bit of this coffee and then I'm gonna do some working out. So something I want to do a lot of throughout this journey is a lot of push-ups. Even if I'm doing, I'm already out of breath, I did like 5. So if I can do 20, every hour or so, just whenever, because that's the thing with push-ups, you can just do it anywhere. You can just stop what you're doing and go in the side of if you have an office, go into your office, do 20 push-ups, every hour. So that's something great about push-ups. Only 20 right there, but that's all I can do right now. So I'm gonna do more in another hour. First major exercise of the day, well, probably the main and only exercise I'm gonna do is gonna be this exercise bike for 1 hour, and I will do different intervals. Anyway, I'm only like 7 minutes in. Check back with me whenever I'm at the very end of this. You'll see how sweaty I get. Okay, just hit 30 minutes, so I'm halfway there. Not so easy anymore. Gotta keep pushing. So I got 30 minutes to go. Okay, pretty much done. Just a couple minutes left on this bike. I did an hour. It says I burned over 1,000 calories, so that's awesome. I'm definitely feeling a bit weak at the end here, without kind of limiting my food intake the last few hours, so it feels good. All right, so lunchtime, I'm gonna have some quinoa with a little pork loin that I bought. Trying to go with things, first of all, I've had friends that have done the carnivore diet, full on just meat, and they've actually had great success with that. I have one friend that's lost like over 30 pounds. I don't wanna go so extreme, but I do wanna focus on mostly meats, not as not like processed meats, but just cuts of meat. And then for kind of healthy carbs, I've heard quinoa, sweet potatoes are good for that. I'm gonna go limited on those, but the main ingredient will be the meat, and then I'll have this side of quinoa, and that'll be my lunch. Quite small compared to my normal portions, so it's like half the size of what I would normally eat. And I think having just that protein, the meat, along with that small amount of carbs in the quinoa, I think that's gonna be a nice lunch. This pork loin is really good. I eat it a lot. The only thing I'm not liking is that some of the packaging, whenever you get the ones that are like pre-packaged, they come like pre-marinated, and sometimes that marinade is not the best. I've noticed that there's some ingredients, like this one had like smoke flavor. What is that? I don't know. So anything that's artificial like that, I'm kind of trying to stay away from. But it smells good, that's for sure. The smoke flavor sure does smell smoky. Drinking plenty of water. Ate the meal on the plate, that's all I ate. I can definitely feel that I could eat more, but I'm not going to. Feeling good. And I'm trying to show you guys every time I eat, whether it's even like a couple of peanuts or something, I want to show you everything I eat throughout the day. So this is literally all I've eaten so far, aside from that small cup of coffee I showed you earlier. So anyway, going about our day now. I'm going to head up to Oxnard soon, so I got to get my stuff ready, and then I'm going to drive about 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on traffic, to Oxnard to get ready for a boat showing. So I'm now driving up to Oxnard. Right now, I just made it to PCH along the Pacific coast, and I'm heading toward Malibu, and it's just beautiful. It's stunning. I'll give you some views of the drive, and then I want to pull over and talk to you a bit about Marcus Aurelius and give you a little daily motivation. Well, I made it to a beach just north of Malibu, and I figure what better place than right here, beautiful scenery, than to start our first ever kind of daily devotion looking at the Meditations book by Marcus Aurelius. It's a bit windy, actually it's very windy, so hopefully you can hear me, otherwise I'm going to have to redo some of the audio, but I'll try to speak very close to the microphone so you can hear me. Let's pull out Meditations, Marcus Aurelius. So I've got the edition here that's translated by Gregory Hayes, and my research shows that this is probably one of the best translations. There's several different versions, but the Gregory Hayes translation seems to be the preferred by many people. So what I want to do throughout this month is really just go through the whole book, you know, the whole Meditations. There are 12 chapters or 12 books, and they're all short, like chapters. Some are shorter than others, and then some are longer. So some are gonna probably require maybe 2 days to cover. Whereas book number 1, where we'll start today, is fairly short. Actually, it's quite short. So I think we can cover it quickly. And I wanna just tell you a couple things. First, so Marcus Aurelius, just to kind of give you a bit of his background, he was born in a fairly wealthy family. Apparently they made their money with olive oil, and his dad then became a politician and was well known. And his dad was actually died. I don't know if he was killed or what, but his dad died when Marcus was only about 3 or 4 years old. And his grandparents actually raised him. So his paternal grandfather first adopted him. And so the book 1 is actually going through many people in his life, and he kind of explains why he's grateful to those people, what they gave to him that he learned from. Also, you know, from a young age, like age 10, Marcus was already kind of acting very much like a Greek philosopher, wearing certain outfits that would indicate he was kind of taking this almost like, you know, a young priest or whatever, right? Wanting to go in that route, but focus on philosophy. So book 1 is Debts and Lessons. Literally, it's listing off people that are in his life. My grandfather, my father, my mother, and it will list things that he learned from those individuals. You know, and I made some notes here, like for example, from my mother, all the simple way that she lived, not at least like the rich. So he appreciated that she lived very simply and didn't live like rich. What I think is cool about his writings is that he was very much not pretentious. You know, he was very much humble, very much a man of the people kind of thing. Another interesting one, to his great-grandfather, he learned to avoid public schools, to hire good private teachers, and to accept the resulting cost as money well spent. I don't really necessarily agree with that. I went to public school myself, but I think it's just quite interesting that this philosopher from almost 2,000 years ago was talking about public school versus private school. Pretty wild. Another one he learned here, not to waste time on nonsense. You know, all I can think about is we go through and we waste so much time on social media, right? Scrolling, whether it's Instagram or whatever. Are you going to remember even tomorrow what you looked at and what you just spent, you know, 2 hours looking at? No, because you're just scrolling and you're not going to remember that. What's the point of it? He learned to hear unwelcome truths. I think it's important. Even though you don't want to hear it, if it's true and it might help you, it's good to hear. From someone else, he learned kindness. There's a lot of kind of kindness elements to his writings and being kind to others, which I think is really great. He learned to display expertise without pretension. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. Very much unpretentious, even if you have, you know, great knowledge of something, you don't have to go around bragging about it and making other people feel beneath you because you have that knowledge. But you can display the expertise without pretension. This one, I really love this one. He wrote this for his literary critic Alexander. He learned not to be constantly correcting people, and in particular, not to jump on them whenever they make an error of usage or a grammatical mistake or mispronounce something. I like that a lot. I like it because I really, one of my pet peeves is these people that think they know it all and they go on and they kind of correct people's grammar and they make people feel small. There's ways to communicate with others, you know, without making them feel small, but actually to include them in the discussion and maybe to learn from you, but not do it in a way that is condescending. So I like that. Here's another one. He learned not to be constantly telling people or writing them that I am too busy unless I really am. Essentially saying that, you know, we always make excuses when people invite us to do things or maybe to help them with things, and we're always saying, oh, I'm too busy, I can't do it. He's saying don't do that. I mean, such interesting writing from 2,000 years ago. He learned also, do your job without whining. I made some notes here of which ones I like the best. I don't know what this is about, but he was thankful that I wasn't raised by my grandfather's girlfriend for longer than I was. That I didn't lose my virginity too early and didn't enter adulthood until it was time. Put it off even. Interesting. He didn't enter adulthood until it was time, and he actually put it off. Finally, the last page, like I said, this book one is only like 5 or 6 pages with some little tidbits. That when I became interested in philosophy, I didn't fall into the hands of charlatans and didn't get bogged down in writing treatises or become absorbed by logic chopping or preoccupied with physics. I thought that was interesting, kind of just going more to his everyman mentality of not getting too pretentious and caught up with maybe the academia, things like that, but just getting to the root and the heart of something, and not having airs about you, right? So there's so many good gems in this, and we're just on book one, but that was the end of book one. We'll look at book two tomorrow. From this point forward, it gets to be a little more, or a lot more, you know, philosophical, a lot of really great quotes. And that book one was more, like I said, he's just mentioning kind of who influenced him and why he's thankful to those people. So let's move on down the road and head up to Oxnard. I'm gonna meet with my friend Don, who's gonna let me stay on his boat, actually. Very nice of him, because I told him I had my meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in Oxnard, which is like a 3-hour drive from where I live. So he invited me, he said, oh, I can just, you know, use his boat for the night and stay on it in the cabin. So I'll go up there and meet him, and I'll show you a bit of that as well. We just made it to dinner, and this is always the tough thing when you're trying to diet, you know, because you don't know what to get on the dinner menu. But I'm going to try to accommodate my diet situation, but not go too extreme. I was just talking to Don, you know, about how you can't be too crazy. You know, you have to do it in moderation. So I'm actually starving, so I think even if I eat my main meal, I'd probably be fine for the day as far as my calorie intake. But I'm still going to try to get something healthy on the dinner menu. So I got the salmon, but it comes with like a salad and everything. Okay, the main course came, salmon. I think everything looks really good. Obviously, the sauce is probably not too healthy, but everything else is actually pretty healthy. Don's got the sea bass. That was good. All right, so Don left. We just had a nice dinner. Probably ate more than I should have, but you know, that's the thing. You go out to dinner with friends, and you can't, you know, you can't take away the fun of life at the same time. but I think I've still done pretty well today, and I think I'm below my normal calorie intake for sure. So I think it's a win for the day. Show you a quick little tour of Don's boat. Really beautiful. Nice galley, salon area. Got my bags and stuff here. Get the V-berth, that's where I'll be sleeping. So yeah, I got myself a little oceanfront condo for the night, so it's pretty sweet. I'm gonna start editing this video for tomorrow morning, and I'll probably check in with you as I edit to do a little final word. All right, it is literally 2 a.m. and I'm just now finishing up the editing. This is just crazy. I can tell you right now that the actual video making process every day is going to be more challenging than the losing weight or eating well. This is crazy. Trying to have a full day and then edit, you know, for 5 or 6 hours at the end of the day to get it ready for the next morning. I'm hoping I can get this out by the morning because the internet is super slow on this boat in the marina. So we'll see.